It's a little bit after 12. I'm going to go ahead and get started because I know everybody's busy today. But first of all, I want to thank everybody for showing up and showing interest in this program that we really are excited to share with you today. We're going to start by giving just a little backstory of how the program came to be, and then I'll go into the program overview to give you details about the program. Then I'm going to turn it over to Cohort 1. Justin Littlefield is going to share his course, pre-exemplary course program and post-exemplary course program. And then we're going to really hear from the experts, Cohort 1. And I don't want to even go any further without, if you are a member of Cohort 1, if you participated in the first cohort, I know everybody couldn't be here today, but could you please stand? I want to give you recognition. And if we could give them a round of applause. This group of people, first of all, volunteered to go first. We were jumping into the unknown together. We learned a lot together, but the time and the dedication that they put into learning more about online instruction, best practices of course design is just overwhelming. And what I learned from them and what we learned from each other really does provide a better quality experience for our students, and that's why we're all here. So I want to thank you all for all the work that you've done and they're going to be such an asset to any cohort that goes forward from now on, because they have the experience of submitting their courses and learning the rubric and all the ups and downs of every part of this program. So thank you for being here. The backstory, a little bit about how this program came to be. Why isn't it? Okay. It all starts with SACS, doesn't everything? There are, I think, about 28 standards that deal specifically with distance education, but we focus, the Distance Education Quality Improvement Committee focus primarily on two. The first one is basically an institution that offers distance ed. We have to do two main things. We have to ensure the rigor of the programs and the quality of the instruction. And we have to ensure that there's enough faculty to not only teach online, and here's the kicker, not only teach online, because I feel like if we're employed here as instructors, we're qualified to teach. We have those letters behind our names, but developing and designing online courses is a whole new ballgame. I had no idea what I didn't know until I started learning about this. So the questions we posed to ourselves was, one, how do we at Beaufort ensure that we provide rigorous programs and quality online instruction? And two, how do we ensure that our faculty is not only qualified to teach, but to develop and to design online courses? So our answer to that was we developed the Beaufort County Community College Certified Online Instructor Program. And this program, there are two routes or two options that you can choose from to earn your certification. One option, and this I consider this to be more of a independent, self-paced option. Basically, there are Blackboard online courses that you can take. I've developed them with Blackboard's support. You can choose from, depending on your level of instruction, which courses are, sure. So option A is the more independent, self-paced route. There is an online course that you can take that is self-paced. You choose, like you would work with me to choose the course that's right for you, depending on your experience level. You complete the course, you provide documentation that you completed the course successfully, and that course, it is about 18 to 20 hours of your time to complete it. So that is an option for you. The option that we're here today for that I'm most excited about is participating in the Blackboard Exemplary Course Program. So let me tell you a little bit about that program. It's well respected, it's well respected, it's well, what am I trying to say? It serves the test of time. It's been around, it's been around for a long time. It started in 2000. It was developed by instructors that were experts in the field. These are people that actually teach, that are experts in course design. So these people have experience that developed the program, and mainly it's been used by thousands of instructors across the world, really, to improve online instruction. So it's well respected, well renowned, well known. So I felt like it's a good program to be associated with. So there's a short video that Blackboard Incorporated developed. There are a few participants from the cohort that are going to share what the program did for them in terms of changing their instruction. So we're going to take just a few minutes to hear from them. And you know what? I'm just going to show I'm going to go ahead and do it that way. I wanted to. Can y'all see that little thumbnail?
I use the exemplary course program rubric to help me plan and then execute my course. I use the rubric to help me with the course design and also learning engagement between the students.
The program is beneficial to be in because of the feedback you receive. You receive both qualitative and quantitative feedback, so you'll get a score for your course as well as actual statements on ways that your course can improve. And as designers and technologists, we should always be looking for ways to improve our skills and our courses. So I found that to be unbelievably helpful for me, and to just have a real strong group of reviewers review your courses and give you feedback that you might not necessarily get in other avenues.
So being a reviewer really helps in opening mind to what other faculty are doing. When you look at someone else's course and you see how they've thought through the activities and the assignment flow, you really are put in a position of a student in that class, and that's really helpful. And then you are able to articulate either suggestions or praise for whatever they're doing, and then your feedback is then anonymously communicated to them. So it's a very rewarding activity. It's really a good way of contributing to success of other institutions, and I think that whether technology is involved or not, that always makes you feel good.
So that's a little overview of the program from Blackboard Incorporated. There we go. So we're going to go into a few more details about the program itself. If you'll take a look at your handout, hopefully everybody has one. If you participate in cohort 2, hey, come on in. Basically, the heart of the program is this rubric, is the exemplary course rubric. And last semester, 2017 fall, last year, 2017 fall, I introduced this just so faculty would become aware of the rubric and the 4 categories of online instruction best practices. And so really this is the heart of the program, and learning about this rubric really does get you thinking about how you design your course, thinking about your course from a student's perspective. And so this is what the course is based on. So the program that's based on this course kind of breaks each of those components down into course design, interaction and collaboration, assessment, and learner support. So this semester we would, in October, and if you look on the back, there's a tentative schedule because there's actually the program itself is is being, how would I say this? There are some adjustments being made to the program, so it's actually the cohort for this fall. There's usually a cohort in the fall and usually a cohort in the spring. And the cohort for the fall has really technically been postponed until the spring because they're making updates to the review system and to the software platform where you actually submit your courses. So that actually, at first it concerned me, but then after talking with the director of the program, it made me feel a lot even better about the program, because this is a program that's continually improving and continually updating and staying current. And so, but because of our relationship with Blackboard, the director of the program is working with Beaufort specifically to provide the sessions, the 4 sessions, and 2 of them will be on campus, and 2 of them will be virtual. You can look on the back of your sheet for those dates. So in October, basically October 16th, and again, this is tentative, based on, this is what I'm hoping could happen, but there would be 2 live sessions that would be designed just for Beaufort, which is a great opportunity, on October 16th, which is a work day. And so the first session would be on course design, and you would get an hour of instruction on what that means, what good quality course design looks like. Then there'd be a little break, and then session 2, another hour on interaction and collaboration. How can you increase the personal interaction between you and your students and students to students? And so then I'm hoping that at the end, after those 2 sessions, we would have some participants from cohort 1 to actually showcase some of their courses that they've been working on, because I feel like it's important. I honestly did not know what I didn't know, and until I saw some of the award-winning courses, I mean, it blew my mind what's possible in an online course, what an online course can be. And so I think having the opportunity to get a vision of what quality online instruction looks like is really valuable. So I wanted to be able to share with you that on October 16th. That would be a half day. And then the other 2 sessions would be virtual. On October 23rd, another hour session would be on assessment. And then the last session would be on learner support, which are the 4 categories in the rubric. So it kind of, these October sessions kind of break down the rubric into manageable parts where we really kind of go deep with each of the categories and learn more about best practices of online instruction and course design. So that would be what we would focus on. Basically, October would be a learning month. We'd be kind of diving deep into the rubric and learning about best practice. November would be a doing month. You would take this time to self-review. You would think about a course that you possibly want to teach in the future, you're possibly teaching now. And I'll let the cohort kind of share how they chose their courses. Lots of different strategies for why you might choose the course you choose. But you would choose a course, there'd be a process of self-reflection, self-review. Then there's sessions where we would get together as a cohort, and these I think we found to be probably the most beneficial, where we got together as a cohort and just talked to each other. We had time to share, hey, how are you doing that? I like the way you do this in your class. How did you do that? And had some time for some peer review. And then hopefully by maybe around December, and none of this is, it's on a continual improvement model, so none of this is set in stone, but possibly by December you would submit your course, and then quote unquote 6 to 8 weeks later, and I say that because sometimes the review process takes longer, but typically 6 to 8 weeks later you would get your course scores. And the value of this is not necessarily the scores that you get back. Yes, we want your scores to be accomplished or exemplary to earn your certification. But the goal is to continually improve your online courses, and so that so once you get your feedback, it is specific feedback. You can you'll have time to take into account what the reviewer said, apply it, revise your course, but it's an ongoing process so that we're continually moving toward better and better, higher quality experience for our students. Any questions so far? No? Okay, so that's kind of an overview of the program. No questions? All right, well, I'm going to turn it over to Cohort 1 now. I did want to give recognition to this group. I can't say enough how much that they've done for their students, for themselves too, because they've grown as instructors, and for Beaufort. This program doesn't just help, well, I mean, the whole reason we're here is our students. So the primary goal, the one we always want to keep in mind, is making a better product, a better quality experience for our students. But, you know, nice little bonus, you do get through this program some of the recognition that we deserve as instructors. When you put time and effort and energy into your courses, we deserve a little recognition. And so with the Blackboard program, you get lots of recognition. When you earn your certification for Beaufort, you get website posts, you get social media posts, you get a framed certificate. You get a framed certificate, not just a certificate. But if you earn your exemplary course award, you get lots and lots of accolades. You get full page write-ups in your local paper. You get posts on our website. You get a really pretty award. And stand up. We actually have our very first exemplary course award winner, Robin Lilly. Her celebration, both Carrie Smouse from Blackboard, she's our Blackboard rep, will actually be on campus this October, and we will celebrate Robin and her accomplishments. They'll have refreshments, they'll have a nice big cake, and she will be presented with her award. And so I hope we'll all be able to join her in this celebration. So we're really proud of you and really thankful for you. So I forgot where I was. I got so caught up in all the accolades. So if there aren't any other questions, I think the meat of this is going to be coming from the Cohort 1. They're the ones that went through the program. They're the ones that put the work and effort into it. And so I'm going to turn it over to Justin Littlefield. He has graciously, let's see here, where are you? Here we go.
Don't give away the reveal yet.
Okay, don't give away the reveal yet. Okay, here, I'm going to take it away. He's going to share with you his courses, pre and post exemplary course program. Take it away, Justin.
All right, thank you, Kate. So I absolutely adore the Blackboard program here because it allows for reflective practice, which is something, I'm in English, and we really value reflective practice in English, because it gives us an opportunity to look back and say, well, what am I doing, and what can I do to improve moving forward? So what I have for you is that not only a before and after, but this is my first online course that I taught at Beaufort. So this is my English 112 pager. This is from spring 2017. And I'm going to bounce over here real quick so you can see what I've done post-cohort. So this is my new Blackboard site. Hello. So a pretty stark contrast between what we had initially in 2017 and me moving forward after the cohort and taking what I learned and adapting it into a new shell for my students now. So some quick notes I want to point out here are the landing page and some of the quality of life improvements that Kate has made to all of our Blackboard sites. They make it accessible for students. And as a teacher, I always try to keep in mind that my job begins and ends with the students in mind. So I'm actually going to flip this over into student view because that's how I always try to view my pages when working in Blackboard, and this doesn't quite work the same way in the older versions. So I like to see what the students can see. That way I know how they're looking at it, how they're viewing it, so there's no confusion between what they're getting and what I'm delivering. So the majority of the content for my course is buried in the Content Assignments tab, and we'll see right here I just have weekly assignments, nothing there. It's sort of the expectation that the student will know where to go and where to find that. I've learned through the program that you can't take anything for granted when dealing with students. That, you know, if you want to go to a page, you have to make a video saying go to this page first before doing anything else. So you definitely learn that as you work through the program. But I'm going to jump over to Content Assignments here so you can see the difference. I'm going to move past this real fast. See how easy that is. It takes our students 2 weeks to do this. All right, now that that's done, I'm all in the course. We can look at my content assignments, and you'll see right here that I have a course content folder that's a stark difference from what it was originally. And a lot of this is sort of the quality of life that Kate has brought in here, because I've left Kate's message in place. I've added a fun little picture because students love pictures. It's more visually stimulating. And I want to make sure that my course was unique from every other online course that they were taking, so when they're on my Blackboard page, they know they're in English class. They're not in math class. They're not in sociology. Not anything else other than my course. Whereas before, I sort of just left it plain. It looked like every other course they were taking. I'm sure it was easy for them to get confused in what course they were in. So let's jump into course content here. So I'm going to take a look at my first week on each of those. Very different between the two. I've had these long welcome messages for each week now that I try to deliver to my students on top of announcements that I give to them, just to give them an idea of what we're doing each week, because in English, I don't always have units that are labeled under certain topics that we're covering. Sometimes we're spending a week to months on a certain topic. Over here, though, not as engaging, not as inviting. I'm going to jump into the first week folder for each of those now. One thing that I loved about the program was it gave me an opportunity to learn how Blackboard works. So Blackboard is an amazing site for delivering material to students, and there are different ways to go about doing it. So when I first started here, I sort of just took the idea of, everything's on the page, they can navigate through the page, they can find what they need, and there was an expectation that they would understand what I have available for them. Not taking that for granted anymore, I tried to create it in a way and curate it in a way where it makes sense to the students. So I try to open it with a module now versus just using a content folder that I've jam-packed with material for them to find. This module starts with readings for that week, assignments we'll go through, and just some bonus material that I think would be helpful to them as a student. And what I love about using the modules is that I have a table of contents over here, but I've also curated it in a way where we can just move through the various aspects, and they can move through one thing to the next, and it makes logical sense that there's a logical progression to what we're doing. So here I have the syllabus in another place. I provided the first chapter of our textbook. I've made pages for readings that we're covering in class. And taking a lot of things for granted too is making sure that students have the accessibility to find what we need. We sort of automatically assume that they're going to have Word at home and they can access Word documents, but that's not always the case, and making sure they know that they have a PDF available or there's a link to a site in case they need that original copy. But I just try to keep that in mind as I create my pages and use them. Even down to how I set up my assignments now, making sure it's very clear that the assignment's listed in a certain way, and then above that there's a topic, so they're not getting lost, they're not getting confused, and it's curated, and that's the word I'm going to keep going back to. But even small things like creating discussion board rubrics. I'm sure many of us use discussion boards in our Blackboard courses and have been dissatisfied with the merit that the students are putting into the discussion boards without thinking, well, what am I doing to show them that I want a certain degree of effort put into those discussion boards. So simple things like making a rubric for discussion boards and showing them, what a good discussion board will look like, and setting up for them and giving them everything they need to be successful on their own. And that's what I took from the program. I could go all day if Kate would let me, because I love talking about Blackboard. I think it's an amazing site. And like I said, I try to do everything with the student's perspective in mind and what the students are seeing and how they're going to get the material and how they're going to learn when they're not meeting with me face-to-face. And I will say the number of emails I get for each week was vastly higher when this was what I was delivering to the students, where I'd get 4 or 5 complaints a week saying, I can't find this, I don't know how to access that. Where the only complaint I've had so far moving into this new model was something that was 100% my fault. I had the wrong date listed somewhere. So it saves me a lot of time too. Now that I've created this as a shell, I'm able to take this and use it semester after semester, tweaking and making it better each time, which is great. So yeah, that's all I got.
Oh, that looks so good.
Do go on. That's great.
And I do think one of the important things that Justin pointed out was that this does require time and effort, but it saves you so much time in the long run because you're presenting a better quality product to the students that's more efficient, more student-centered, and so that it's easier for the students. And if it's easier for the students, it's going to be easier for us. And so thank you so much for sharing that. That shows lots of
Well, thanks for bringing Blackboard.
Yes. Any questions for Justin specifically? Okay, you did such a great job. Now I want to just turn it over to the cohort participants and let them share a little bit about their experience, about their, you know, the pros, the cons of the program, the benefits of the program. Just share their experience, and then give the rest of the time basically for you to ask them questions that are more specific to you and your courses and your needs. So if Kimberly, Ashley, Justin, Robin, who else is there? Suzanne, I don't know if y'all want to just, if anyone wants to volunteer just their thoughts and opinions on the program, and then just kind of have a share, you know, question answer session. Anybody want to start? Okay, Ashley?
I'll just say it does seem a bit daunting to watch 5 hours of webinars, you know, to watch this. But, you know, Kate had graciously given us the exemplary course rubric before, and you can look at that and kind of get some good ideas. But it was really watching the webinars and seeing what other people had done that really just illuminated things that you could really do a whole lot better, you know. Because I always tell my students, well, I was in college for 10 years too, so I know what it's like, you know. But, you know, you always have to kind of flip it around and remember, you know, I'm not them, they're not me, that sort of thing. So I will say that those webinars were really beneficial to the whole process.
I'll be honest, I was probably a little slow to get going on this, and I'm moving a little better now. And a lot of that had to do, not necessarily with everything else that was going on, but it did have a little to do with it, because it does take time. I mean, there's an investment here. And I had to grapple with a few of my biases, which I think kind of bounces off what you're saying, that is it not simple enough? I mean, could you make it more simple than his first one? Which is totally being snatched off of my page, so it's okay, mine looks better now too. You know, so I really had to grapple with this, like, am I coddling the students? I feel like I'm having to repeat things and make things so much easier for them. It wasn't difficult to begin with. But I forget that I've been staring at Blackboard pages, as you put it, for years and years and years and years, and so they make sense to me, and they don't necessarily make sense, especially to our new students or people who are new to Blackboard. So I guess what I'm saying is it may take a little time for you to grapple with what, you know, to kind of get your head around it. But I did spend this summer not building my course so much as going through the rubric and learning new things about my methods and how they could be improved. Discussion board rubric was one of the things I hit this summer too, was I always assumed they, you know, you meet the expectations. That's all you got to do, you know. And then they're like, but I did. And I'm like, you didn't. And why don't they understand that? And so having those clear expectations is really important. And I really kind of grappled with the visual design. You know, we kept going back and forth talking about these pictures, the headers, and different things. And I got to tell you, I'm enjoying my Blackboard course more since I spent all this time in there. That have those visual aids, and so if I'm enjoying it more, hopefully they are too. I did literature. He did the 112 class, which I hope to steal from him later. But I did a literature class, so of course, you know, author pictures, and, you know, things they can connect to. What we're doing actually really spiced up the page a lot, and I know I still have a long way to go. I mean, I'll probably be submitting when you guys submit, but it was really just, I was kind of mad at the program, I guess, at first, because I was like, how dare you tell me what, you know, I already know. And after I, you know, got over my biases, I could definitely see a difference in my courses and how I think about them and the decisions I make. So I guess what I'm saying is it's okay if you don't love it at first.
Well, and
You'll come around.
That does bring up a point, because I've had the opportunity to work one-on-one with different instructors from different departments, and you know, just like when we walk into a classroom, we all have our own teaching style and our teaching personality, and that's still the case in an online, you know, course too. It's not a cookie cutter, like your course has to look a certain way to be deemed exemplary. As long as you're meeting these goals, the way you accomplish these goals can be, you know, completely up to you and your personality, your teaching style. So, you know, there was an instructor that was more, you know, they were saying, I'm more to the point, I'm more, I don't know, he just had a different teaching style. And that's fine too. And so I think the beauty of this is it doesn't have to be one way as long as you're meeting the standards. And as long as you're truly reflecting, how am I accomplishing this as an instructor for my students? And if you can look through your course and say, this is how I'm doing this, and it works for you, but most importantly, it works for the students, then it works. And so it doesn't have to be one size fits all, which I do like. Anybody else?
Just kind of a different angle, because yes, it's great for students and it feels good and it's the right thing to do, but also from a business standpoint, it's a smart thing to do to make our product better than other institutions, because we are competing with other institutions for business, and it wasn't like that historically. And so when you go to most schools, you're not looking at a Blackboard course that looks like Justin's. I mean, because I know from taking classes, you get the one like Justin showed his 2017 course. And so if our product is better, then people will want to purchase our product. And so I want to keep my job. So I'm going to make it the best I can.
Good point. We do need students to stay employed. And I will say that it's kind of fun to be in the lead here at Beaufort, because as far as I know so far, the last I talked to Carrie Smouse, who's our Blackboard rep, we are really only one of 3 institutions, and that includes universities and colleges in Eastern North Carolina, that can say we have award-winning courses or award-winning classes, and that we're involved in this program. We're in the midst of there's an instructor from UNC Wilmington, there's 2 from Wake Tech, and there's Robin Lilly. And so really, I think we're in good company. And so if we can continue to provide these quality courses and be able to say, from a marketing point of view, when you really get down to it, you're right, from a business standpoint, marketing, we can say we offer award-winning programs, we offer award-winning online courses, we have award-winning instructors at Beaufort. That kind of gets somebody's attention. I think, did you mention something about the badge that you had in your email? Something about a parent or something?
Yes, I teach part-time at Martin Community College, and I come from the public school in Martin County. And so I still have contacts with my high school students, and they were asking me what course should I take. So the parent had already been looking at Martin Community College courses and my Beaufort County Community College courses, well, not just mine, but just in general. And they had saw this write-up, and they saw an email where I had that badge up there. And when they started looking at the courses, they decided to come here just because we had one of the certified courses already. I was going to tell you too, when you choose which course to do, choose a course that's going to meet a lot of students. I chose to do CIS 110 because we teach anywhere from 150 to 250 students a semester, and we teach about 6 to 7 sections. So I knew that we got one course. It's not just one course at Beaufort that is in free now. It's 6 courses, because we use that as a shell for whoever's teaching that section now. So that was another thought that I was going to tell you. And when you go into this rubric, it is overwhelming. You're going to want to just quit once you start, but don't try to make changes to all your courses at one time. Choose one course and concentrate on that one course, and once you get that laid out the way the ECP course rubric is designed, then when you get your feedback after submission, then you can gradually work on your other courses. When I first started this, I wanted to change all my courses, but when you get into it, you see it's a lot of time. I think I probably took 2 months on just focusing on my one course, and I would spend 3 to 4 hours a day while I was here at school, probably at least 3 days a week just on that course, because it's once you get into it, you want to keep on going. You don't want to stop, because it's so many changes that will benefit your students. Just little ones like the videos. I did not create videos before. You don't have to show your face, just your voice and examples. Create videos. I do weekly videos now, because there's some students who they want to come on campus, but they can't due to their jobs or other issues, whatever it may be, but they want that face-to-face interaction. So I think the videos allow that communication to be there, so you're not just someone posting assignments, read it, and do your work. The mid-course survey, which Kate introduced to us, and on my rubric, I got feedback that is nice to have. You know, we do the surveys at the very end of the semester. Sure, you get your data back, but does it really benefit you and your students? No. It benefits the future students. So that mid-course survey was beneficial to me because I can see what that group of students are having issue with. And they're not going to be the same every semester. You're going to have a different issue here than what you would have with this group. Little things like adding the dates to your content folders. No, I didn't see it was necessary. I just put week 1, week 2. They could look at this course syllabus and see what week we're on. But specifically putting the date, week 1, August 15th to August whatever. Because when they're taking multiple Blackboard courses, it's easy to get confused. What week this is going on, when this is assignment is due. So really, it's repetitive and you are coddling these students, but you know what? You have less email. If you have it in your syllabus, you have it on your folder. Just like the help, Kate, on the template, we have BCC resources on the template, but when I looked at Miss Kim Melissa's math page, she had it there. She had it on the very beginning of content and assignments. She even has it on her weekly folders. So there's no reason why a student should come here and say, well, if I need help, where do I go to find it? Because that's 3 locations right there you can go find information. So I would suggest picking one course that will meet the most students. Blackboard Community, they have a website. You can go up there and view other instructors across the nation that have been ECP approved and get ideas. It may not fit you. Like Justin's, he uses the modules?
Yeah.
The table of contents. I didn't like that. It did not. My brain could not comprehend how to use that. So I still stick with the folders, but it works for me. So just because something works for Justin or me and it don't you, it's fine. You make it designed the way you want to and the way it meets your needs.
Any questions?
Yes, in nursing, we don't really have anything that's all online. We've done hybrid before in the past. But how easy is it with all the pictures and symbols to meet the accessibility checker requirements? Do you?
Alt text. You do it just the same
Yeah,
way you would
do
with
alt
something
text,
else.
and then every time you submit an image, you can put in the image description and put in alt text right there as soon as you put in that.
Okay.
They will literally read the image to
Okay.
a reader.
Okay.
And
It's actually
CIS,
really easy.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
in my course CIS 110, it's all online, but I also teach 2 sections of hybrid. So I taught it the same way, and I set it up the same way. So regardless if they're here face to face or if they're strictly online, they're still going to get the same content.
I think the only other thing with accessibility is the videos that I record with Blackboard Collaborate. I know there probably is a way to have subtitles put on that, but that's something else that I'm going to start working on in the future. So not right now, but that is something that I'm going to move forward with.
And that's something that, accessibility is something that's going to be a focus of mine this year, to provide more support for faculty. And currently, right now, the closed caption is, in my mind, and I can't find an easier way, and if somebody knows the easier way, please let me know, but it's a 2-step process. So wherever you record your video, I use Collaborate Ultra, I basically always click the enable download. I download it, then I upload it to YouTube. YouTube has an auto captioning service, and so you just click on auto caption. It will caption it for you. I always click on edit and kind of go through, because sometimes, I don't know if it's my southernese or what, but sometimes it might misunderstand me, so I might have to edit just a little bit, just to clean it up just a little bit. But then I just save it and I use that URL of my Blackboard course. So there's that one additional step. I do know that Blackboard is in the process of updating Collaborate to, they know this is an issue, and so they're constantly moving forward and trying to find, I'm hoping that feature is going to be actually in Collaborate Ultra soon. But yeah, those are things that you want to think about, definitely, the accessibility issues. Is that clock right? Anything else that we haven't talked
That's
about?
actually why I picked my literature class rather than a math class like Justin did for English. Was because there are so many documents, because all those stories, I mean, there's no book, it's all uploaded into the Blackboard shell. And so there's no way that all that stuff is accessible because, you know, over the years it's been chunked up there, you know, it gets pulled off and revamped. And so what this is doing is actually allowing me to go back through that course with a fine-tooth comb and address issues like that. Now, I don't really, most of my stuff goes from YouTube for a reason, but, you know, that was like sort of the decision why I didn't do a math course, whereas I believe that what Robin said and what, you know, like Justin and some other people are doing, where you use it for the math course, it's going to reach more people. It's going to affect more students. I mean, they're right about that. But that was, I guess, my motivation for not taking one of those classes, because that class needed help. It needed an update. It needed to be caught up with accessibility and everything. And this gives me an opportunity to literally go through every document and make sure I've checked it. So that I'm kind of using this to save my own tail in some ways, I guess. But it's going to be a better course that I've done, so we will continue to use it, even though it may not reach as many people.
And that's another, when you say you can continue to use it, it's a shell that you can use from semester to semester just by copying. So once you put the work into it that semester, it is easier for you in the long run. But it can also, so for CIS 110, for example, as an institution, your department can choose to request, like once you get a course exemplary in your mind, or you know it's to the standard that you would like, you can actually request that be the template that you use for all CIS courses, if that's something that you choose. And so rather than you having to load your courses for the fall and then copy your course specifically into the shell, it could just be already preloaded with the system-wide template. Does that make sense? So that saves you another step. Something else you said. What did you say about accessibility? I can't remember.
Really just forces me to think it, and also consider how they're going to access and open things in ways that I just sort of assumed before.
I won't talk about that now. There's an awesome Blackboard product out there. It's called Blackboard Ally, and it's amazing. And so I'm really pushing for Beaufort to get that, because that will be so nice for you in terms of accessibility, with just what you were just talking about. It's anyway, it's a really good product, and I'm just fingers crossed we get that. Any other questions about the program? I will be sending up, this was just designed to provide just some general information for you. If you are interested, I will be sending out emails to provide more like registration information and things like that. If you just want to contact me for some follow-up one-to-one questions, feel free to email me, call me. I'd be glad to, or you know, anyone in here. I do know, well, Millie just left, but nursing, there was an instructor. Millie left. Shoot, I wish I had mentioned this before. But all course types, regardless of the delivery mode, seated, hybrid, or online, it doesn't matter what type of course you teach, you can submit to, you can use this course to improve, this program to improve your course and submit those courses. So if you have any other questions, feel free to contact me or any member of Cohort 1, and I'll be following it up with some emails. So any other last questions? No?
Thank you, Kate.
All right. Thanks y'all so much for being here.